Hi, everyone. Good evening, a very good Friday evening today. My name is Ethel Da Costa, and you, ladies and gentlemen, are with me on the Stiletto Foodie show with Ethel Da Costa. Today is episode 8. It's been 8 shows, which means 8 Fridays, 8 fabulous Fridays where we've had, homegrown chefs, people from India, people from Malaysia, friends who have come from different parts of the world to be part of the conversations. The conversations have been very exciting about food, our entire relationship around with food, emotions connected with food, memories connected with food, and things that make us, warm at heart, warm in the tummy, and general, a feel good feeling. And I've had a great time doing it. I've enjoyed each and every episode, curating it, putting my guests together, and then weaving the entire storyline around it. So welcome to the Stiletto Foodie show with me, Ethel Da Costa. Today is episode 8. I have some two very interesting talent. As usual, there's a guest from Malaysia and there's a guest from India, which is now my norm because, as I said, I'm looking at bridging both the countries that share heritage, history, and of course, its people and diversity. So today's two guests who are here are going to be. We'll talk about their own history, their own passions that have been, that have become part of their lives and therefore storytelling. So I'm looking at, giving them the entire platform to kind of, take it ahead and talk about everything that they feel from the spirit. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome you to the Stiletto Foodie show today, episode 8. Let me introduce to you a very dynamic woman that I met in Malaysia, again over food. Audrey is a restaurateur and owns Memory Café in Malaysia. Her entire cuisine, I know after I dined with her, just took me back straight to Goa, and my own floodgates of emotion opened up with her food. Memory Café has a very specialty Eurasian cuisine. So it is an Eurasian cuisine destination, drawing culinary inspiration from her own ancestry and her own history and heritage. That also comes from Malacca, and her experiences of her family, her father, and how they all kind of put this all together into a lovely story narration through food, drawing inspiration from the culinary heritage of the Portuguese, Dutch, Chinese, and of course, Asia food traditions. I love the fact that Audrey's so dynamic in what she does, and very passionately, has been taking this flag forward, of putting a Eurasian cuisine, out to the world. And all her guests enjoy her food. I've seen a whole lot of, her feed, social media feed, where, people are kind of so happily expressing their happiness at eating and dining, at Memory Café. As I said, my own experience dining at Memory Café was nothing short of very emotional. On that note, I must today share a very local dish that has been sent to me here by one of our guests who was in the show, Chef Gaia. So Chef Gaia has sent me a vegan mushroom rice clay pot, and I did a bite of it, and it kind of reminded me of the Indian khichdi, almost the same kind of spirit to it, a little kind of fiery, a little feisty as an aftertaste. The mushrooms kind of really stand out. I'm going to add peanuts to it when I sit down to for dinner. But thank you, Chef Gaia. This is what she does. I think she's just launched her own food delivery services from home. So check her up on Facebook. And yes, vegan, I think, is a new way of being, a new way of eating, and also kind of supporting your body with um, detoxing it and cleaning it all up. So I'm quite on that wavelength and thought process of also adding a lot of more vegetables to my diet. So let us just get Audrey online with us. In the meantime, find out our Facebook page, the Stiletto Foodie page, and log on to it, and we will have awesome exchanges happening. Storytelling that will happen. You will see what all Audrey does, and and her kind of food specialty. And yes, Audrey is here with us, and let me just add her. Audrey, hi.
Hello, hi. Good
Good
evening from
evening.
here, from Malaysia.
Good evening, and
Yes,
welcome to the Stiletto Foodie Show.
thank you for inviting.
Today's episode 8. I'm quite happy that we've gone to 8 episodes already, uh, which has been a good 8 Fridays so far. As I was telling our audiences who are joining in, as they find the page, people come in from India, people come in, of course, from Malaysia and different parts of the world, including Bangladesh. And I'm quite excited. I'm quite excited, kind of, to talk about Memory Café, to talk about this entire Eurasian cuisine that you've been kind of, holding the flag, so to say, with what you've been doing, the entire tradition to it, all your emotions connected with the food, because I'm speaking from experience, having eaten your food. So tell us about Memory Cafe, Audrey. Tell us our audiences about Memory Cafe, when it was launched, why it was launched, and who launched it.
Okay, hi, good evening. Thank you for inviting me, Adele. So, just tell you a bit story of my own cafe. It's established on 2016. It was 5 years back, and it started together with my partner, name of James Tam. He also so-called my husband. Both of
Yes.
us. We came up with the ideas of our own childhood's memories. Something that we want to really dig on, and we couldn't find anywhere in Malaysia that really touches us. So we thought of how it comes to we bring this food to a life. We bring something that have forgotten before, and bring back into a cafe. Why not? I mean, that concept and how it started. So that's how we focus on our history of Eurasian groups in
Okay.
Malaysia. We thought of even those the memories is not just our memories, the food that we always childhood we love to eat, but also I think it's also part of Malaysian memories. So in
Right.
house we brings out the history. We focus more on the Eurasian groups in Malaysia. We started in Malacca since 1511. I think if it's, some of you still remember the history. So it's excited to explore that way because the Portuguese start is used to be my late father favorite food. Together with me, together we have a good time together. The happy moment. That moment was always awakes me, and it always reminds me what is good in life. It's just as sweet as that. So
Yes.
it's just started from there. Actually, yeah, we talk about Portuguese group from about they was here about 130 years. You see, they are in Malaysia, and they come to the Dutch and Malacca. They come to Dutch and British. They were rulings about 300 years. I'm
Okay.
sure there is something have done towards Malaysia. That's how our food, the culture, are been adapt and inherit from. So we strongly believe that all these people come in will in fact influence what we have today.
Yes.
Yeah, so that is how memory was founded, the name. So
Okay.
we need it as a memory, and we want to celebrate the diversity of Malaysia food. Yeah.
Okay. How old is the restaurant now? How many years now?
Now is actually every 5 years, is entering 6 years now.
Oh, so this is sixth year, right? But
Yes,
which is fascinating, Audrey, which is very fascinating because the Portuguese were in Goa for 500 years. The Goa liberation happened only in 1961. And but they left behind, all of their food heritage, And I think that's what they do, right? So the
Yes.
food heritage in Goa, all the architecture, is all goes back to the Portuguese times, and that's the reason why Goa is such a, and I'm sure Malacca is the same too. Though I have not visited Malacca yet, it's such a happy place,
You should. That
Yeah.
is where it's Malaysia, the oldest, the history where it comes from. Yeah,
Yes, exactly.
it's a beautiful.
Wow. Yeah. So I have a lot of friends in Malacca who have been like inviting me, saying, "Ethel, you must come to Malacca, and we will take you all across, the Portuguese settlement to meet people and eat
Yes,
food and things like that."
There are
Yes.
still, there are still a group of Portuguese people there. The people are settlement there, but they're very localized. But
Mm.
somehow I just there still remains some of the strong tradition there. I heard I've seen it, and I also found it more interesting in that is, the Malay words is actually similar slang or the pronunciation as Portugal. I heard
Correct.
about this last year, so it's really amazing that I feel that hey, did you mean the language is already so similar? Maybe I
Yes.
don't know who copy who, but somehow there are some marriage been happen, and I so call the food as well. When the
Yes.
Portuguese settlement down here, they inherit the spices, ingredients, and the style
Yes.
of cooking come to
Correct.
Malacca. Yeah.
Correct. Yes. So I can't wait to see what you have to showcase, today, to
Yes.
all our audiences who are all coming in. But in the meantime, Andrea, I know that the pandemic has hit so many businesses, right? How
Yeah.
did you manage to survive? How did you manage to survive and ride through, right
Um,
through?
Actually, I would say that pandemic to us, yeah, is really bad to a lot of business owner as well as this restaurant owner. But to us, we take it as like a pause for us
Mm,
then to rethink how do we do better for the cafe, this restaurant. So we very focus on the marketing side, the marketing
okay.
and the social media. That's what we do during pandemic. That is how we connect close with the audience, even our
Mm,
customers. So we
mm.
start do a lot of we develop our own apps. We do
Okay.
develop our own apps. So I because this is a privileges and reward that we want the customer to enjoy as well. We
Mm.
do also we born with a curry devil, which is come to a concept that is actually in a bun. So
Yes, yes,
instead of
yes,
in a clay pot, so
yes.
it's very localized. People like the Chinese people quite familiar with some of place they have this, but this is the first devil curry. Devil curry is inside the curry, and actually you peel off the bun, you dip into the curry. So this is the experience of it. So this is the hot seller with the packaging that will come with the packaging. Yeah,
Yes.
so it's like
Which,
a
which is your,
present to friends. We
which is
order
your own invention, no? Your own invention, correct?
me and my partner actually we was continuously thinking what are the way
Ah,
how do people connect. So we
yes.
a lot of people bought this for their colleagues, for their friends. It's a happy moment, you see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you bet.
You see,
Food,
it's
food is
not
always
just
food is always happy occasions. If
happy
you love if you love it, right? Yeah, if you love it, correct. And on that note, we have some of our friends who are already online, are already kind of commenting too. So I'll just bring them online, just to kind of say hello.
okay,
So
okay.
Faisal, of course, Faisal is a regular on this Stiletto Foodie show. Hey Faisal, thank you for joining us. Thank you. I think it's also you mentioned James Thum, so he's also here. So James is like a big,
Yes, my
huge
partner.
heart, out there. And as people kind of find the page and get into conversations, we will find a lot of them will start commenting and sharing and things that way. So great. So jumping straight into it, into the conversation.
Mhm.
Let's talk about Portuguese cuisine and its influences in Malaysia,
Yes.
because you're so passionate about it yourself. Tell us,
Yeah.
share it with us.
Um, okay, in Portuguese food, I think if you have chance, anyone in Malaysia or in KL, come to our place.
Hmm.
You can enjoy the food, which is mostly our hero set. We have our devil curry, and we have also suji cake. Suji cake is a celebration cake where the Eurasian they used to eat during the festive season, birthday, or even Christmas.
Okay.
We have that. We have devil because also is one of their Christmas food. Where after Christmas they will take that as is one of the comfort food. Uh, Move on, of course, we cannot miss the Portuguese start.
Yes, of
Because it's
course.
like
Of
icon
course.
for Lisbon,
Yeah.
Portuguese country. But and somehow it's already inherent in many places, even in Macau or in Malacca, Spain, and it comes to KL now. So
Yeah.
I want to bring this memory back here. So that is how we package it into here.
Yes. I saw
Uh,
that. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
this we try to input a lot of elements from the Portuguese. We also have ikan bakar. Why ikan bakar? Actually, ikan bakar is more on the local and the Portuguese. Portuguese in Malacca settlement, they are fishermen. So they usually, they live nearby the seaside. This is how the lifestyle. So
Yes.
ikan bakar is where we introduce, and they use their local herbs and Malay way to cook it. So you also can enjoy that in our cafe. So a lot of element we really taking care of from where it's going, the touch of the Portuguese or even the Eurasian style.
Correct.
It's very important to us, so that
Yes.
we want to keep on promoting this group. We don't want this group to be miss out. I mean, it started to be faded down, and actually this
Yes.
group
Yeah. Yeah.
Eurasian people is exist in here. So somehow when we opened, they have a lot of Eurasian people just came out from nowhere. We was like excited, talking about food and celebrations. Everyone was happy on that.
Yes.
It was a special occasion to see this group comes together. Yeah.
Correct. Because as I said, I mentioned, right, I have a few friends in Malacca, and we've been talking on and off, about food and about the entire, like how you said, the entire community, which is like slowly fading out, right?
Yes, it's so
And they're all trying to, keep the community alive through food festivals, recipes, history, because a lot of intermarriages that have also happened, kind of, and of
correct.
course, the pandemic happened, and everything just came to a
Mm.
grinding halt. Yes, wow. So you said your father was very passionate, right, about food in Malacca, correct? I think
Um,
you mentioned that to
Actually,
me.
he loves eating. First of all, he's a businessman. He loves eating. Of
Okay.
course, my late father, before he passed away, he's the only. He was weekly. I would say by every weekend, never miss. I will sit in my cafe to
Mm.
enjoy a tart and a coffee, just as simple as that.
Okay. Okay.
So it makes me feel like this moment I don't want to miss out.
Yes.
Even though even the first 3 years was quite tough for our cafe, even falling to a place where we felt like, oh, let's stop this business because in F&B it's not easy. So
Mm.
after giving a guts, give another try, and we set our alignment. So somehow, beside rebranding the whole memory, the part of the value is I just don't want to miss this memory out. My father
Mm.
loved the charm. My
Correct.
father loved the charm. The moment the we have the tarts that he really enjoyed. Just the moment we want to cap in our memory, so that it makes me feel like it keep one need to move on and stay on stronger to move
Yes.
on with this business.
You also mentioned that around at least an approximate 1,000 tarts fly off the kitchen table on everyday basis, right? That
Yeah.
is really awesome. That is really awesome.
Um,
To my friends out there, who are online, check out my blog. Where I've mentioned the Memory Cafe story and my own review of it. It is fantastic. I loved the tarts. As I said, I spent 2 days crying because of the. I was so overwhelmed with emotion. It just took me straight back to all the things that we take for granted. At home and in our mums' kitchens and stuff like that. So
yeah.
awesome. This is really awesome. As I said,
Also, I
Yeah,
was very happy. I mean, in a way that my food can actually make people emotion. There's some things money come by, so I'm like, wow, this is something that
yeah. Yes, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. I'm going to get two more of our friends who are here online with us, because as I said, they're joining us from different parts, including Goa. So I have Mario Ribello who's saying, "Great going, Ethel Da Costa." Thank you, Mario, for making the time and for joining the show. Stay on. We have really lots happening here, all with Portuguese food and Malacca as the focus, and of course, then I have my next guest, from Bombay who joins us. Faisal in Bangladesh, who's also quite the foodie, he says, he's asking you to kind of name some Malaccan dishes for Bangladeshi travel thirsty people. Faisal, hold on. We will answer your questions very soon because Audrey has a lot to share as of now, and don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. We have, yes. So he's comparing the Assam peda stingray fish dish.
yes,
Yes. There are a lot of similarities between. For me, it's amazing to see how locals have actually even assimilated food habits and food dishes into Malaysian, or a
Mhm.
Malaysian twist to it or an Asian twist to it. Audrey, which are your own favorite dishes that you like personally, from your entire menu, and then the favorite dishes which your clients love?
Okay. I can tell you right now, a lot of people know us because of the tarts.
Because of the
Okay,
time.
I will show you how the tarts actually look like. Hey, this is the original tart, how it looks.
Yes.
Crispy from outside and it's creamy soft from inside.
Can
It's
you
a
get it closer, more closer to the camera? Because they look so delicious. Yeah. And they were
yeah.
awesome. They were really
I
awesome.
just need to get a bite first.
Yes. Oh my God. Look at the crunch. Yeah.
Okay, this is my best. When I get tired from work,
Mm.
nothing just expensive, just a simple food with a cup of hot coffee or even iced chum.
Cham,
It's
yeah.
the best of both worlds, already. So as
Correct.
simple as so I just want to introduce this simple life. People eat it, they're happy and get motivated and move on with their life. I
Yes.
mean, the hot of coffee and a ice chum is this is my booster anyway. I told my staff or my partner, I need my booster. They know this, so they will do this chum for me.
Yeah.
And this chum actually famous for a variety of five kind of tea mixed together.
Okay. Okay.
And this is a special recipe from ourselves. Just need to explain a bit what's chum.
Hmm.
In 1930s, a group of big immigrations came to Malaysia.
Immigrants.
Chinese immigrants. So they brings a lot of Hainan
Hmm.
culture. So where you see in Malaysia, in KL or in PJ, you see a lot of kopitiam, right? That
Yes.
is Chinese influence. They love Hainanese food. So this is how chum. Chum is a definition of the coffee and tea mixed together. So
Correct.
if you go any kopitiam, you will see old man or even the owner. They will do their tea with that. But what we have done here, we do a big twist on it. We get our
Mm-hmm.
own tea. We choose our own tea, and we actually grind it at the grinder and do
Okay.
it in the machine of Western way to brew it
Mm-hmm.
out. So instantly you punch with the flavor of the tea instantly. So
Oh,
it's different.
nice.
You drinks it, they were saying there's a aftertaste,
Yes.
and that is what we tell that the taste is so different. Where the people will keep coming back for our. One of the reasons they're coming back for our tea and
Yes.
also our tarts. Yeah.
And you can have it either hot or iced, right?
Yes, it's up to you. Yeah. Both
Yeah.
both is good also. Yeah.
Correct. So your favorite dish in the entire menu that you put together is the tart, you're saying, right? And it's your
I
distress.
love many.
Mm.
I put it. The favorite are in the hero set actually that I sent
Mm.
to you.
Yes.
The hero set is something that I love to eat. Then I would love this to be shared out to my customers. So that is how the hero set been set. You
Okay.
have of everything. You want to try memory, just go for hero set. Then you will
Mm.
taste the variety of the flavor variety up and down,
Correct.
the spicy to sweetness to crunchiness to bitter to everything's taste. It's
Yes.
like, yeah, you can
Yeah.
get confused.
And I loved it, like to our audiences here. We will show you what the devil bun looks like. It is awesome. It was my first time. I've never seen something like that, or even eaten. Of course, I'm familiar with the bao, because
Mhm.
I got introduced to the bao too, which is very Chinese, right?
Yes,
And yeah, and I enjoyed it because you can do so many things with, and different types of bao, right? That you can,
yes,
yeah, different types of bao, which is also modernized now to kind of
yeah,
suit
modernizing.
the new foodie palette and stuff like that. Awesome, great. So yeah, so what we're going to do now is, we are going to take our audiences through the food that you have with you there, right? Because as I said, as we kind of go to the entire food Eurasian food journey with you, I will also have Kalyan who will join us soon. He should also kind of be online soon, and he will talk about his entire
Wow.
experiences with food. Right now, it is Ganesh Chaturthi, which is celebrated with huge fervor in Mumbai, and it has its own cuisine and its own sweets and its own delicacies associated with the festival. So, that will be Kalyan, talking about it. Um, why do you think, Audrey, that it is so important to keep traditions alive in these modern times?
Mm, I think it's about 5 points from here. First is about Malaysian history. There,
Hmm,
where I born, this is my country. I'm proud
correct.
of my country and a mix of culture, a diversity groups of people living together. This I never enough to enhance it, and a lot of people of because of pandemic, a lot of things happening. This need to be reminded. I mean, in many political ways,
Correct.
differentiation. We need this history to be known.
Yes.
Okay. Also, secondly, is about simple the people and the food, and the culture. The
Correct.
okay, the always the food. There is a relation with the people.
Yes.
Third, the loss of the origin and identity, because I know that Eurasians they are existed, but it's just nobody talk loud about it. Nobody mind it. So it's getting fading off. So I'm kind of lucky enough to
Yes.
showcase this. I wanted to bring it on and modernize in the modern way of eating. Fourth is about relationship between the old and young. Why?
Hmm.
Because I notice where I bring in food, where the old people, the senior, I mean, they come for the old chum, and the modernized with the Western and maybe some my coconut shakes, with the ice mocha. You can see a celebration and a relationship between a young and an old in my cafe.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
So I
I
think,
think that value
yeah.
was, yeah, very a story that brings a value to me is just not just like the young group. It's just you can see the right variations of group of from young kids to the elder. They can sit together because our cafe we provide different kind of range. We have rice. We have to have western. So we see both people come together.
Correct, right. And in that coming together, I must, Kalyan has just got online. The perfect time when you said, the food brings people together. So we'll just, let me just introduce Kalyan and get him straight online to join us. Because as I said, I'm sure, it's Ganesh and Kalyan has somehow managed to kind of get himself in one piece at home. So yes, so I'm very happy to introduce a very close friend of mine who's also a fellow foodie. I met him at a big, huge, food event in India where we were invited to be part of of the reporting there, which was the event was called Taste India. So a good Shout out to Swarish for introducing me and Kalyan. So Kalyan Karmakar is an award-winning food and travel writer and a published author in Mumbai. He blogs at, the title of his blog is called Finely Chopped, which he started in 2007, way back, when the word, even blogging was in fashion as it is now. Kalyan is the author of The Traveling Belly, the book called The Traveling Belly. He's a curator of the Times Kitchen Tales for the Times of India, which is the publication that I worked with in India. Kalyan has conceptualized and launched India's first Home Chef Power Brand Award called the Home Cheffies Awards, which he will talk about. He has a podcast called Foodocracy for Her, which is India's longest running podcast to spotlight the work of women in the food place. So bravo, and thank you, Kalyan, for taking the female flag forward in terms of food narrations and women's long-standing relationship with food. Kalyan's columns have appeared in the Times of India, in Femina, in the Indian Express, in NDTV Food. He writes for Condé Nast Traveler, Daily O, and Scoop. He has also been a jury member for the International Chocolate Awards, Yum Yum. I'm sure he's eaten a lot of chocolates at these awards. He's also been a jury member at the Condé Nast Top Restaurants Awards and the Living Foods Epicurean Guild Awards. Kalyan runs a finely chopped consulting firm which specializes in consumer and market insights, offerings in the food space that brings together both the worlds of consumer market research and food writing. So, wow, which means I think I should be talking to Kalyan offline very soon on a couple of ideas that I also have for Malaysia and India. So, Kalyan, are you there? Are you there? Are you online with us? Because I have to take you online. So, where art thou, Kalyan? Okay, I think Kalyan's network is probably also having a short Ganesh break, but he's going to join us soon because he already knows that I'm done with introductions and I need him now online. So as he gets in, I will patch him in. So Audrey, what are your plans for the future? Because now Malaysia is opening up, right, in terms of phase 1, phase 2 that is happening currently. What are your plans for the future?
We actually, just to let you know that on the November we were opening another second outlet.
Okay.
In below City Mall.
Right.
We already planned on the MCO3, and they yesterday just announced that we can restart back our renovation. So it's going to happen on November, our second outlet.
Okay.
And this year, we hopefully another third outlet will be on the Sunway or maybe on Putrajaya or Sunway. That's for the year for this plan. And moving on, we also pushing a lot of people to use our apps.
Okay.
Because as we have more branch, it's more convenient for the customer to use the apps. They have a lot of system inside, and they follows what we have, our best promotions. Yeah,
Okay.
I think for these few years we will be stabilize the 3 outlet first at the moment, and to make more good tarts for the people.
Yes. So Memory Café has 3 outlets right now, right?
I'm now doing the second outlet. For the end year should be another 2 more out.
Okay, great. So Kalyan has just joined us, and I'm going to get him online right now. For a minute, Kalyan, I thought I had lost you to some Ganesh crowd and traffic jams in Mumbai. Hi, Kalyan. Welcome. Welcome to the Stiletto Foodie Show.
Selamat petang. Good evening, Malaysia.
Hello,
good evening. Look at my T-shirt. Look at my. That's how much I love your food.
Yes.
I must confess, I bought this in Singapore. I know there's a bit of rivalry, and of course, all the food has come from Malaysia.
Yes.
Malaysian food, and yes, our younger kitten just came and said hello from down there. So.
Oh my God.
But
so, Kalyan, meet Audrey. Meet Audrey, and Audrey meet Kalyan.
Hi, Kalyan.
Hi.
So Kalyan has two cute little kittens, who have grown into cats now, and I've been following that story too, and how the cats have adopted him rather than Kalyan adopting the cats. Fantastic, Kalyan. So good to have you, buddy. So good to have you.
Absolute pleasure
You
to
know,
be here.
and as I was, I mentioned about your book, and how suddenly I'm writing about food, though we met at a food event in Delhi, correct? And yeah, strange things happen, and I think stranger things happen when you're completely, open to being led by the universe. Yeah. So
Yes.
welcome to the Stiletto Foodie
Thank you
Show.
so much. Thank you so much.
So how is the weather in Bombay right now? Because today is Ganesh Chaturthi, right?
Yes, yes. So today is the first day of the festival,
Hmm.
and it's very Malaysian to the extent that it's cloudy, drizzling a bit
Okay.
humid. But of course, unlike in Malaysia, that doesn't happen every day. So we are in the middle of what's called the monsoons of the rainy season, and
Correct.
today is the first day of the festival. And I live in Mumbai now for the last 20 years, and it's the biggest festival of Mumbai and Maharashtra. So Lord Ganesh is the favorite son, and this
Yes.
is what he loves to eat. So
Oh, that is the modak.
yes, yes. So they're not dim sum, they're not dim
Yes.
sum, but this
Yeah.
is an Indian version of it. And then Lord Ganesha loves this. So we'll talk about it. A lot of connection
Correct.
between India, Mumbai, Maharashtra, everywhere.
Correct.
Calcutta. So
Malacca.
I'm from Calcutta. Might show you a bit of Calcutta food and connections there as well.
Oh,
I'm looking forward.
awesome.
I'm looking
Awesome,
forward.
awesome. So most of my guests always complain that we have so much food on the show, and everyone is eating
But you're the
except them.
stiletto foodie. You're the stiletto foodie. So what do they expect? They can't
Yes.
expect like you're not the. It's not a murder mystery and that there'll be corpses lying all
Yeah,
over or something like that.
that is
It's
true.
it's a foodie show.
Yeah, so I always tell them, I said, you can have a drink, keep a drink, a glass of, a glass of wine or a beer can or have a dinner with us. That's completely fine. So that,
Yes.
it becomes a completely, they participate. So as our friends join us from Malaysia, Goa and Bangladesh, I kind of, patch them into the show too, which I think makes it so exciting because there's so many questions popping up now, from them about food and, how they see their food in comparison to the food that we are talking. So, what is it about food writing, Kalyan? You've been writing since I think 27 that the blog has been active. What is it about food writing that excites you so much? Like you're still out there going.
Yes. So you know what? I mean, as a kid, I always loved writing. I loved reading. I was born in England, and then we lived in Iran for a year when I was
Iran.
very small.
Okay, I did not
Yes.
know that. Okay.
Yeah, just before the Islamic Revolution, so long time back. So my dad was
Yes.
a doctor, and then the revolution happened, and it was a bit like Argo, so we decided to leave. And I was very small, and then my
Hmm.
dad wanted to come back to India and give back something to the country. He was a doctor. He passed on, unfortunately, very soon after that. So my mom raised me and my younger brother. So she's a
Okay.
professor, and I always loved reading and writing. But I don't know how it was in Malaysia, but in Indian society, and especially in Bengal, where I come from, it is really so much about being in service and getting a job. And so I studied sociology in college, and
Hmm.
then I actually got into the Asian Age, which was a newspaper which had just opened in Calcutta at that time. And then I got an admission into B school. So mom said, no, you should do that. So I
Hmm.
did that. And then I got into a market research agency, consumer
Okay.
market research. And in fact, later in life, I've worked in market research agencies in Malaysia, as
Ah.
partners. I've gone to not Malaysia, but to Singapore to present in market research conferences, Thailand, and so on. And well, that happened. So that was 1997 when I
Hmm.
moved to Mumbai just after passing out of B school. So I must have been about 23 or something. Then I met my wife when I moved to my next job, which was in an advertising agency. Thankfully, she loves advertising, so she's in advertising. She's a writer,
Yes.
and then life continued. But somewhere down the line, like you said, 2007 was when I was getting into middle management, and I was getting a bit bored with work to the extent I was not getting the creative outlet which I wanted. I was reasonably good at my work, but
Yes.
you know, And so that's when my wife suggested that why don't you start writing a blog. So I'm talking of 2007,
Yes,
when
exactly. Correct.
meetings were pretty unheard of. So she
Yes.
named it Finally Chopped, because I said, I'm going to go there and say everything which is wrong in the food industry, like you want to do when you're young, right? You want to be the
Yes.
angry
Yeah.
young man, as Mr. Amitabh
Yes.
Bachchan
Yes.
called.
That is true.
Yeah, yeah, and then it slowly became my diary. Though we've all grown up in a generation where we would write diaries and hide it from our parents or moms, and now suddenly I was out there, and it sort of
Hmm.
became like a column, and it became a love of mine. But I never thought that it would become my profession, because I was just not attuned to think that way, and I don't think
Yes.
India was ready at that time.
Yes.
And
Correct.
I was, in a fairly well-paying corporate job. But 2012-13 is when I moved the shift, and this book happens. I got the contract.
Yeah.
And,
That's the traveling belly.
over a couple of years, I was writing it out of cafes. This morning, I went to one of the cafes, Smokehouse Delhi, where I sit and write. Other one is
Hmm.
Candy. And
Hmm.
then the movement slowly happened and got into food writing, and I just love it. So to me, I still approach it the way I used to way back in
Correct.
2007. So
Correct.
yeah, that's it.
And how we were saying, right? And Audrey should know this too. We've been in the industry for such a long time. We are the old school journalists, right? Who kind of,
Right.
we keep reinventing ourselves.
You
And
evergreen. So maybe like some of us might feel old, but I don't think Ethel Da Costa and old go together in the same line.
thank you for that. Awesome. So Audrey has such a huge history in terms of Portuguese cuisine and Eurasian influences. Which is all fantastically put together into her cafe called Memory Café.
Wow.
And yes, and just 3 days back, she kind of sent me like an entire like a care package, if you could call that, full of all those goodies and delicacies. And I was telling her I spent 2 days crying because it just really kind of took me back to my mom's kitchen,
In
which we
Goa.
all could in Goa. Yes, the
Yes, we
same
were
kind of
Portuguese.
food,
Yes.
Portuguese, right? The same kind of food flavors, and the vinegar and the reshad masala, which is all, of course, that you kind of which you
Peri
send like
peri.
yes. Oh my God, I was like, because we take our parents for granted. All of us. I'm sure everyone online too will agree. We take our mums for granted when they keep putting food day in and day out. So
To
Audrey's food kind
appreciate
of
it when you move out.
yeah, till we move out. Yeah, so Audrey's food took me completely straight, there.
Is that
Awesome.
Peranakan food that you do, Audrey? Is it the sort of
Um, I we don't I don't do any magic. I think it's more on the Ethel memories that we talking about. The
yeah,
memories that make kids the tears of joy keep
the best
pouring
way?
out, and he keep texting me continuously. I also feel his expression at that moment. I said, "Wow, I didn't know my food can make people cry." That's how
Yeah,
In a good
it,
way. In a
yeah.
good way. In a good way.
in a
So
good
you
way. Yeah,
In a
in which
good
absolutely.
case our cry is associated with hostel food.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
Correct. Which brings me to to your book, the Traveling Belly, which
Yes.
says it all, which it says it all, the Traveling Belly. Can you tell us, what kind of stories, are part of these Traveling Belly narration?
Well, the Traveling Belly, like Finely Chopped, was named again by my wife, Kanaz.
Hmm.
And I sort of got the contract from Hachette Publishing
Okay.
just when I was making the move into food writing in a serious manner. And there was this editor, Paulami Chatterjee, who's still with them. So we were introduced by Rushina Munsha Gildyal, who's also a food writer, and she has a cook studio and stuff like that. So I happened to meet the editor at the at a book launch there, and then later we met up and we spoke and we discussed different ideas. And she said that why don't you do something which is like a food travelogue and
Yes.
across India, because you like traveling and eating. And when I just moved into food writing, then one of the first things which I used to do professionally was doing food walks. And
Okay.
food walks at that time were very new in India.
Yes.
Even internationally, it was sort of growing. I had attended a few food walks abroad as a participant. I had also taken international food writers like Zantle, Simon Mazumdar from the UK and US on walks across Bombay, and they said that why don't you do that? So what I would
Yes.
do is I would take people from the city. They could be locals. There could be people like me who've moved in later in life. They could be foreigners, either working here or as tourists. We don't have as many tourists as Malaysia does. But
Yes.
I would take them to parts of the city where one would normally not go,
Hmm.
and take them to all these small eateries and stuff like that, and help them get a sense and feel of the city and its people through there. So I wouldn't really talk about anything which you would get on Google in terms of how old the place is or stuff like that, but more like sort of showing them around, introducing them to the owners if I knew them, or tell them little snippets about the sort of people who'd come here, what dish to order,
Yeah. Yeah.
and stuff like that, and in a way welcome them to Bombay through that. And I actually had a similar experience in Malaysia,
Hmm.
and there were two Bengalis who made me fall in love with Malaysia, because I'd gone to Singapore first a few times on work, and then I went to Malaysia, and we had a conference, and then my wife joined me, and we were in that golden triangle. And then I came back and said that Malaysia is so cold. I mean, compared to Singapore, it's so it's this thing. So then there was this Bengali couple who works in advertising. They used to be in Malaysia at that time. So
Hmm.
they reached out to me and I said that, look, we read your thing and we understand where you're coming from, but
Correct.
we want to show you around. So it so happened I went to Singapore for a meeting, and I went and stayed with them in Bangsar in Kuala Lumpur for a week. And they
Okay.
took me to all these places which they loved. Like they took me to this place called Lucky Garden where I had the butter pork. Then they took me for Peranakan food. They took me to
Hmm.
places to have the roast duck breakfast early in the
Oh.
morning,
Oh my
and
God.
it was a
Yes.
completely different face of Malaysia. The old coffee shops and so on, and that made me fall in love with the place. So that's what I tried to do in my walks. And then
Hmm.
my editor said that that's the spirit you need to bring into your book. So there are
Correct.
about 13 cities in India which are covered there, and most of it was based on my experiences of market research at that time and the travels I had then. So which was a very pure sort of travel. Like I would travel
Yes.
to do focus groups and then I'd eat. Versus as a
Hmm.
food right now, where sometimes you're taken around by tourism authorities or hotels and
Yes.
stuff like that. It's not really the purest of
Yes. Yes.
experiences.
Yes.
So the book is
That's
about
true.
that. I've written about Calcutta, my hometown, a lot of nostalgia there. I've
Hmm.
written a lot about Mumbai and the places I eat, so that's probably the most detailed ones. And I've written about Amritsar, I've written about Goa, and a whole lot of places, Bangalore, Chennai, and all that. And it's all about the experiences of eating there, the people one might have met, and so on. It was not meant to be the definitive list or the place you have to go or this is the chef you have to follow. It's just a
Yeah.
story of a guy who likes to eat and
Lovely.
inviting you to his table. So that's what it is.
Lovely. And is the book still available on
It's still
Amazon and
available.
things?
It's available in Amazon, and every now and then I have people DMing me saying that they bought it and they loved it, and which feels
Ah, how
great because
nice.
it's published in 2006,
Mhm.
16,
Correct.
and they've been like reprints, but it's not like a re-edition. So it's sort of
Yeah.
feels good when people send it. It's been 5 years since they.
Yes, correct. Because Kalyan, when my book was out, The Stiletto Foodie, a lot of the international travelers were completely shocked and amazed, and pleasantly so, because they did not know, Malaysian stories also, because the narration that I use is very spiritual, discovery of self through food, and that's how my food also, experiences and journalism that is happening in Malaysia, which I think is so interesting because the flavor of what is in your plate to how it's expressed in words, I think is very fascinating for me, even now, because it's a very new, yeah, it's a very new experience, right? I've never been a
Yes,
food writer in India at all. I was writing everything except food in
Well,
India.
I was a market researcher. You were at least a journalist in the fashion, uh, you know,
yeah,
That's right.
actually, true. In Malaysian, actually, just Malaysian is about food. I
Yes,
think it's
completely.
because of the culture and diversity on where our roots come. We come in culture, in different cultures. So we all our foods is not so like the origin, but that is have a
Yes.
mixture of
Yeah.
other essence coming in. A Chinese dish, suddenly you have a few sambals coming in. So this is how makes another flavors go up another level.
Correct.
So this is when people doesn't discover Malaysia, when they know they always can't forget and remember the food in Malaysia. And Malaysians, you can start conversation, as I told Ethel, you can start conversation very easy with Malaysian when you
Yes.
talk about food.
Talk about food.
Yes, that's what I feel as well. That
That's a good
when you
start.
start a conversation with food, it's really easy to build up friendships.
Correct. So we
Like if you ask
we also
people
have
about their political views and their marriage or stuff like that, or their state of their gut, they might not want to say. But food is. We have some questions coming in.
Yes, we have a parallel conversation happening in our chat box as well, where our guests are talking to each other about food, because Faisal from Bangladesh is talking to Povan from Malaysia in terms of he's asking questions, saying that name some delicious Malaccan dishes for Bangladeshi travel people, correct? Which they can put on their food list while traveling outside of Bangladesh. And Povan replies back to him saying that, hey, Faisal, you should try the Assam Peda stingray fish dish. I love this. I loved all the parallel conversations around food. And I think
Yeah,
this is what...
the Assam tamarind touch is something they'll like.
Yeah,
Definitely.
and it's awesome tasting, because
Yes.
I ate it in Labuan, and I completely flipped for it. So I like it. I like the fact that that everyone is having parallel conversations with each other, not only just on the show, but offline too. Emily says hi, Audrey, and Emily also says that she's talking about Audrey's Memory Café, saying that the Portuguese starts is one of the best in town, which is a must-have. I vouch for it.
It's such a lovely name, Memory Cafe. I just love that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I love it
this
too.
is my best memory. Yeah,
The whole
I think
nostalgia that
another thing that why strike memories, I think nothing can last but except memories.
Yes.
True.
I think or it's only have in your mind. So nothing other than that is, I think, is nothing.
correct.
That's simple.
On that note, Audrey, let's see your devil bun now.
Okay.
Was your devil bun? This devil bun is
Oh,
awesome.
it's like that. It's actually come
Yeah.
in a box. It's like a present box, it's like a celebration present box, and you come out with the perfect bun, but you just need the scissors just to cut it, and it just comes with surprises inside. Then you have the curry inside.
Yeah.
Wow.
Then there's where the double curry are. We so-called the Malaysian, they name it as a double curry, and is there's no santan on it. The flavor is very vinegar. It's very tempting, continuous. You need to eat because it's a nice spicy vinegars. That's this food I think makes Ethel cry, I guess.
Spicy. It's spicy. It's like the chicken vindaloo. It's what I thought.
Sorry?
Like in Goa we have chicken vindaloo, which is almost tangy vinegar.
Yeah, something like that. Similar.
Yeah, so two people can eat that.
People
Kalyan.
can eat.
The whole bread opens up. You just break the bread and dip inside and eat. How awesome is that? Yeah.
It looks lovely. I love bread. I love
And
bread.
and it tasted really good because it is almost like a vindaloo, a very very gravy with potato. That way I loved it.
I love potatoes.
Because in Malaysia, they eat it normally with rice. But
Okay.
I think we should cap it with a bun or with a sometimes we serve with a sourdough, like where the Western people like to eat.
Lovely
So we keep that two combination comes together. So people like to just dip in, with the hands, just eat, eat like the experience of it.
That's exactly how I ate it. I just broke the bread and I was in, scooping it up. Wow. Kalyan, you also have some food today, right? You have
Yes, I've lots of stuff to show you.
to show us, right?
Yeah, I want to first show you something, which is this glass. It's made out of bamboo, which a friend got me yesterday from Tripura. Where
Okay.
Tripura is the northeast of India, So there's a lot of bamboo handicraft. So he got me this, a very pretty lamp, and
Wow.
this thing. So it just struck me I should show you because Tripura is a part of India
Yes.
which is really spoken of. Okay, now to the dim sum. So
Yes.
Lord
Dim sum.
Ganesha's favorite thing, which is called modak. So
Modak.
this is and this is the original type of modak. Now there have been many things. Now you even get modak with chocolate and butterscotch
Yeah.
and but this is what the original thing is, and you'll see that there's a lot of similarity between Malaysian food and this. It's really like a sticky rice bun in the sense, but so this is the modak, and it's a particular shape to it, and the coating over here is made with rice flour, and it's and it's sticky, and it's steamed, and inside that this one's cut over here, so it's got grated
Oh,
coconut. So
yeah.
I
Oh
mean
my
you use a lot of coconut. This is
Yes.
grated coconut with a bit of jaggery for the sweetness and a beautiful aroma. I wish I could make you this thing. And traditionally the color is white, and it should
Yes.
be steamed, and it's a speciality of the Ganesh festival, and it's a very auspicious day on which we are meeting. And of course,
Yes.
Malaysia celebrates every festival, and it's beautiful. So it's and in a way it's like a dim sum. It's steamed. It's got coconut inside. So I mean, just imagine the sort of and it's
And
very difficult to get. So it's primarily like people make it at home. You will hardly find it in very few sweet shops in the city, but it's so I myself I'm not Maharashtrian, which is the home this thing. I'm from Calcutta, so I just feel privileged to have been sort of get a taste of this.
yeah. And to everyone celebrating Ganesh in Malaysia, happy Ganesh Chaturthi.
Yeah, it's of course a festival all over
Yes.
India, in Goa, Bangalore, Chennai, so much about from Maharashtra, of course. But okay, now can I, since I happen to have some food from Calcutta, which I've sort of ordered in from a restaurant today,
Okay.
and I had a
Okay.
bit of it before lunch, will be of interest to the people in Malaysia also.
Yes.
Malaysia's entire thing is simply Asia. So I would say that Mumbai is simply India because there are people from every parts of India and
Yeah.
there, and there's so much of influence. Like we were talking of the Portuguese influence in Goa. There's also Portuguese influence in Bengal, which is in the east, and a lot of European influence with the British were there, and Calcutta was the capital. So I'm going to show you some street food dishes, and also show you, you must have heard of this dish called the biryani, right? I've had
Yes.
biryani in Malaysia
Yes.
in Malay
I love
restaurant,
biryani.
Oh,
and it
it is
comes from
very
the
so
from the
popular. So
from the
popular here.
Indian
Yes, it's
Tamilian
so popular
community, and
here.
it's really spicy and it's got a lot of spice and masala. But when you come to India, you'll see that there are different types of biryani from Hyderabad, Calcutta, Lucknow. They're all very different. The levels of spice differs. So this is one. Let's see if it doesn't overturn. So this is
Oh,
the
wow.
sort of so this is called a matka.
Yes.
It's an earthen pot, and it was covered by a flower parda curtain, and it was steamed in that. So I've removed it because I had lunch also. And this is a sort of biryani which is influenced by Lucknow in North India, then came to Calcutta, and because and that's where the potato and all of that was introduced. And at that time, which was in the 1800s, potatoes were new to India. It had been introduced by the Portuguese, so there's
Portuguese, yeah.
meat, and this one has a lot less spice or masala than you have in Malaysia, because there's more spice and masala in the biryani of the south, and
Okay,
which
yes.
is where Malaysia, Singapore's original Indian community comes from, the Tamilian. So this is
Do
interesting.
do you have a spoon? Do you have a spoon that you can kind of scoop
I
as well?
can get a spoon, but I'll have to disappear for a second. But maybe why don't you guys continue? I'll just come in a second.
Yeah, because biryani is so popular, Audrey, in Malaysia.
Yes,
I was quite surprised, and everyone knows biryani rice.
yes. They have their own version in every mamak store.
Own
You
versions.
can have that.
Own
Yes,
versions. Own versions.
I love it.
Okay,
I
I'm
just
back.
had mine last week.
You got the spoon.
Okay,
All right. Let's
I
see.
had biryani in Malaysia in one of those places in Kuala Lumpur, Penang, and all where you order and they keep putting stuff on the plate and then they count at
Mamak.
the end.
Yeah, mamak. It's called a mamak.
Yeah, the
It
mama
always
places.
in mamak. Yeah.
Mamas
Yes.
after the mamas. So the moment you see this, you see this rice is very
Oh.
different.
Yes.
It is not covered with a lot of masala, which in Bombay, the Bombay biryani will have a lot of wet masala. So see this rice, it's so fragrant. Then the potato. Now the potato you'll find only in the biryani in Calcutta and Bombay. It was introduced when Wajid Ali Shah, who was the Nawab of Lucknow and Awadh, he was deposed by the British. He was exiled to Calcutta. That's where the potato was introduced. It was new to India at that time. And we love our red meat. So this is
Yes.
mutton. Mutton is goat meat.
Yes.
And so this is how it is. This one has a boiled egg as well.
Ooh, okay.
Oh,
But
wow.
only problem with
Oh my God. That
I'm
looks
a
awesome.
biryani. So the only problem with asking me to get a spoon is I might forget you, lovely ladies, and start digging into the biryani. Okay, listen, I want to show you about something else, which are the rolls. And let me tell you a bit about this. So in Malaysia, and I'm going to show it to you. So in Malaysia, you have your roti canais, right? You have your
Right.
and martabaks. So it's a very in Bengal we have a very similar thing, which is called the Mughlai paratha. So the Mughals and parathas in Mumbai they're called Baida roti. In Burma they're called just palatas. So it's basically it's like a flat paratha with a bit of mincemeat inside, coated in egg and deep fried.
Yeah,
And
that's
you
Yes.
know your
Which
martabak
is also,
in Penang.
also
This is
available.
the
Yeah.
roll.
Yeah.
yes, it's available.
Yeah, this is the roll. So this what's happened is in Calcutta, it's a bit like a doner kebab or a shawarma, except that the paratha is made out of flour, and I'm going to show you. So this is typical. It's wrapped like this. It's come from a restaurant called Mustard in Mumbai, which does.
I like mustard.
So this is this is soul food for me. I've grown up on this in Calcutta. Again, I'm going to forget you guys and start eating because this is the time you eat it. In India, it's about 5 o'clock, 5:30. So it's an
Yes.
evening snack in Calcutta. So the paratha is made with flour, and you sort of roll it out, and then you sort of shallow fry it with a little bit of ghee or oil on a very flat wok, and then into that they put in the mutton kebabs. Since I have the spoon, I'm going to show it to you. Yeah, and you then put in a bit of fried onion. Can you see that?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm hungry already.
And this one also has, if you ever chat with Saurish again, you can tell her about the rolls. He would have grown up on this. So it's got an egg coated thing. So it's a bit like the roti canai, but imagine a roti canai rolled up with the mutton kebab in it, paratha in it, and then there are these sliced onions. They're giving me some extra as well, but otherwise it's put in the paratha. So this is an evening snack which started from Muslim restaurants in the British time when the British ruled, because they were trying to figure out something which they could eat without dirtying their fingers because they use knife and fork.
Yeah.
There's a place
Yes.
called Nizam in Calcutta, and apparently they went there, and then the restaurant guys sort of like taking kebabs, putting it in paratha, wrapping it with paper, and giving it to the sahibs, as they were called.
Yes.
You also say farang, so firang, and now it's become a favorite. So you get it with just meat, you get it with egg, potato, and so on. In Mumbai, you get the Frankie, which you also probably get in Goa, but it's
Yes.
different from the Calcutta one. Like the Frankie will have a bit of curry in it. But
Mm.
so that's, I mean, the diversity of food in India or anywhere in our region, Malaysia, the influences in that, the story which each of them. I mean, we were talking of Calcutta, which is in the east, but we are in the west, and there's
Yes.
Maharashtra, and there's this you might think is like a dim sum, probably in Din Tai Fung or something like that. But then you see
Yes.
that it's actually sweet, and it's got no meat in it. It's got coconut, it's got jaggery, and Lord Ganesha loves it, and he loves
And
his
God,
food.
he loves his food. Yes, he absolutely loves his food. You also, in my introduction, I was telling Audrey too. You've also kind of done so much of work in terms of the entire home chefs phenomena, that we see in Mumbai. We also see that in Malaysia also, correct?
Yes.
Your contribution to that has been quite huge, because you also have this entire awards now, that has been kind of so beautifully weaved around the concept. Would you like to tell us about that, Kalyan?
Yes, thank you. So I've been fascinated. It's not that the concept of home chef is new to India.
Hmm.
So I mean, we've had home chefs are people who cook out of home and then they sell the food, but they don't. we'll have a restaurant or a separate kitchen or whatever. And if you take a city like Mumbai, for example, we've had women who would cook food at home, curries and rice and so on, and sell it at lunch hour. But we're in 2021 now. So 2017-18 is when this concept of home chef became big in media, where there were a
Yes.
lot of people who came from, say, the the middle to upper middle to even upper class society sections of society, English speaking, who understood social media, who would then present food from their homes, just as Audrey you do in your cafe, um, and they would do it through pop-ups in cafes or hotels or in their house and so on. And it was an interesting movement, but it was not really too dominant because there were restaurants and hotels, and who would want to travel to another part of the city to go to someone's
Mm.
house and eat? You had to really love food to do that. So it was not.
Yes.
Then happened the pandemic, which started in April 2019
Mm.
in India, and initially we were under lockdown, and there was no access to house help, which is a part of Indian society. So suddenly we were leading the first world European life because everyone was doing their own dishes, clothes.
Yes.
you know, in India
Yes.
we used to do it.
Yes.
We suddenly became Europeans and Americans, and we were doing all of that. And restaurants were shut down, cafes were shut down, and then a few months later came these home chefs, were
Mm.
largely women, but there were also men who started cooking food from home, and the sort of food which they would eat at home, and then sell a few portions, like initially within the neighborhood or the condo, because it was easy to send. Then delivery apps came up,
Correct.
and the
Correct.
food started going out, and then more and more people came into it, and it was sort of fabulous because the sort of food which one had got to taste, one
Mm.
would not get that in restaurants or anywhere else. I mean, the purity of it, the integrity of it, the variety. There were food from different parts of India: north, west, south, Kashmir, Kerala,
Yes.
Calcutta, Assam, whatnot, Bhopal, different parts of such a huge country there. And we had some of the best food which we've had in years in Mumbai. And then when restaurants opened, then there was another lockdown again. And
Mm.
by then, people had understood how good home chef food was, and the fact
Correct.
that it could be called in home. So it sort of started growing. But it was a bit like the initial days of blogging and so on, that people were doing it, but there was no one to really recognize it. And I think
Yes.
that I was lucky on in my career as a blogger that people like Sarish Bhattacharya, V. Sangvi, Rashmi Uday Singh were all like really big journalists in food writing, very senior sort of people. They've been Kunal Vijaykar. They've been very encouraging to me, to some of my
Mm.
fellow bloggers, and that helped us get recognition. So we said that let's do something which can give recognition to the home chefs. So
Yes.
we curated this award called the Home Cheffies Awards,
Hmm.
and we ran that in April this year, and
Okay.
it was the first Pan India Home Chef Award. And see, we couldn't taste the food of home chefs across
Yes.
the country, so we made it on the power of the brand because it's so much about storytelling. So I use a
Mm.
lot of my market research and branding experience to sort of come up with the questionnaire, the rating matrix, and
Wow.
weightages and so on, to look at story, menu, photography quality and stuff. And then
Mm.
we had about 800 odd entries from across the country. We
Wow.
created 13 categories: Indian food, Indian desserts, Western food, Western desserts, health food, elder folks, people above 65, youngsters,
Mm.
people below 23, street food from home. And the other different thing which we did was that we said that since it's from about branding,
Correct.
traditionally, if you see any award which happens in the food industry, whether it's on restaurant, writing, or hotel, the jury always comes from people from the industry, writers,
Mm.
chefs.
Mm.
We've been part of that. I said
Yes.
that this is on branding. Let's get people who are experts. So we
Mm.
got people from Ogilvy Advertising, Harsh Goenka, who's a huge industrialist, one of the top
Yes.
five industries in India. There was Prabha Narasimham, who was the executive director of Unilever, Anil Vishwanathan, marketing director of Cadbury, Anushri, head of ITC,
Wow.
digital. So we had all these top people from the world of marketing, and
Correct.
and they were judging the home chef entries. And then what happened was all these people are corporate head honchos, and they're used to the corporate world, but
Correct.
they were stunned by the brilliance which was out there.
Yes. yes.
and they actually gave us sponsorship money. So I think for a rare thing in India, we were actually able to give cash prizes to the winners, and that makes a direct difference to a home chef. So it
Hmm.
was really really satisfying.
A majority of
Experience.
them were women, were women participants.
Yeah, well, yeah, yes, a majority, yes, but there were men as well. Some of the winners included men, and the other interesting thing was that we thought the home chef phenomena is largely limited to some of the big cities, and probably the best were in Mumbai because I was trying their food and it was so good. But I think the
Yes,
process was so scientific that the winners came from all over. In fact, many people whom I knew in Mumbai didn't win.
participate. Okay,
There were
okay.
others who did, which just went to show that how well talented the field is, and it was really wonderful. But there were men, but
Hmm.
largely women. Largely
Okay.
women. There were people across different ages. People who were housewives before, people who had a corporate background. There were examples of mother-daughter getting together to do stuff. Son,
Nice,
mother and daughter-in-law. It was just wonderful.
nice. Audrey, that is an idea for us.
Yeah, I was thinking that is a good
Yeah, happy
idea.
to share whatever I've learned with
Yeah,
you.
Home Chef
yeah.
Award. There's something need to share to the FFB group, right?
Correct. Yeah, because as I said, this the entire pandemic also kind of opened up so many. I mean, like completely people out of the blue doing burnt cheesecake was like the flavor of the
That's
Yeah,
cheesecake.
of the pandemic because
yeah.
every single person was doing burnt cheesecakes. And I was like, what is going on, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things happening same to Malaysia because due to pandemic they cannot a lot of sad to know a lot of restaurants have closed, but
Yeah.
also another more new brands come out and
Yes.
a lot of become not non-cook become know how to cook. I think more healthy food now because a lot of home food everyone want to be back to organic and eat healthy, all sort of a lot of home cooked chef actually. In fact, it's
Yes.
very
Yeah.
very very impressive. Yeah.
That's absolutely correct. And as I said, like while we are so excited here, the offline chat also is getting very exciting because
Yes.
each one's having cross communication between themselves, which is
Yes.
fantastic. So,
Fantastic.
so Song is online too. Song also comes every Friday, to be part of the Stiletto Foodie show. Hi, Song. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your support, for the great love. The way you put it all out there to everyone who's part of the group of the. It's called F and Fabulous, right? F and B Fabulous group, which is some 200 odd home chefs and food entrepreneurs as well. I'm also part of it. So thank you, Song. Thank you, Song, for the encouragement and for the support.
Nice.
Wow, this has been so much of food discussion that is happening, up and down. So Kalyan, in this entire environment, because we are also kind of, shooting off time. I'm sure we can talk hours and hours together on food. Where do you see, where do you see this entire new wave that we are all seeing of, like we said, home chefs, of new health-driven or health-conscious food that is also happening now. Where do you see this going in India, in particular, and globally, as a writer and as an expert yourself?
I think the trend worldwide, and as we sort of connect with people across different countries, we'll see that there's a certain similarity to the pattern. Maybe the velocity differs from place to place,
Hmm.
depending on where they are. But I think that there's a lot of sort of one's connection with food and one's roots are becoming stronger. There's a lot of inward
Yes,
looking ness which is happening towards our food. You were talking of the Tasting India symposium where we were 2 3 years, maybe 3 or 4 years back, and there was
correct.
so much focus at that point on local food, locally grown, and all of that, reducing the carbon footprint. Now, because of the pandemic, I think we are all becoming a bit more aware, conscious of that. I
Hmm.
think in places like India, where there was this this fascination with the Western world. I think now we're sort of awakening to the wealth of what is around us and appreciating us, and that's what the home chefs have done. That by
Yes.
showing regional food, regional customs. I mean, where would you have thought of coming across something like this. So you still don't get this in restaurants. Very few sweet shops. And but
Correct.
what's also happening is that some of the chefs who have a deeper vision and so on, and across different age groups. So they're also now pushing this conversation, and that's good because when a chef does it, it just becomes
Yeah.
more trendy. But sometimes we
And,
need people.
more legit also, no? I think because it's like a stamp of
Yes,
of
yes.
approval that happens.
And also, you were talking about spiritual consciousness. I think that I think that, I wanted to make a point over there because when I made the transition in 2012-13 from market research to food writing, initially I was a bit lost for about a year, but then I sort of took to Buddhism as a philosophy, and there
Lovely.
was so much about talk about in Buddhism, also yoga, about
Yes.
purpose. So I think
Correct.
this pandemic has, I think, made us all think about our purpose. So when I started, just before I wrote the book, I realized that my purpose is to write about different communities and connect people. I wrote so much about Malaysia then as well, about Penang and Langkawi and Malacca and all that, KL. Over the last 1.5 years, I felt that purpose for me is to, one, keep people's spirits alive because we've been
Correct.
at home for 16 months. It
Correct.
can be really depressing. And two, to sort of give people hope and to show that there's so many things. I mean, look at you, Ethel. I mean, 5 years back, 3 years back, would you have imagined you would be in Malaysia like a sort of quasi ambassador for India to Malaysia and Malaysia to India and talking about food? So
Correct.
we can never
Yes.
second guess life, can we?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So the idea, like you mentioned, Buddhism, because I'm also kind of very deeply now drawn to it, drawn to its principles, and it's given me like a whole lot of new purpose. Like it's like recalibrating yourself, right? And
Exactly.
like a repurposing yourself,
Exactly.
I believe I was called. I believe I was called to the country in that sense, to kind of maybe have my own reinvention also to happen. So wow, and it happens to food. Can
Yes.
you imagine
Yes.
of all the things, right? Yeah. So this is
No
awesome,
escaping food.
completely awesome. Yes. So food is love, and I think when you open yourself to love, divinity also steps inside into it, because suddenly you are open to to receive. Otherwise, you can if you're closed and you just you're not receptive at all. And food, I think, has been that particular reason for me that has completely changed my life on its head. I mean, I think 3 years back in India to what I am now are two different individuals altogether.
And this is same for me as well. Same for me as well.
Completely different. Great. So this is so awesome. This is so awesome. Kalyan, you need to come to Malaysia now again.
And
That
and
is
and,
it.
uh,
You
and meet at
definitely
Memory
need to
Cafe.
come.
And meet at Memory Cafe
Let's
first.
meet up here.
Yes, yeah.
Create new memories. Create new memories. And
Great
maybe get a new
memory.
T-shirt. This is quite a
Oh
few years.
wow.
I love wearing
That's,
this. It's part of my DP as well.
wow.
Right, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's all Malaysian food.
Yes.
It's all Malaysian.
Laksa, roti prata, chili crab, bak
Right.
kut, nasi lemak,
Chinese
Nasi
to
lemak,
Indian
market
to
ball.
Malay.
teh tarik. Oh my
I had them
God.
all.
Yeah, awesome. This is awesome. And one day we will also take this conversation between Malaysia and Singapore. They're like,
Yes.
that conversation needs to be had
It's
because,
like Mumbai and Delhi and Melbourne and
yeah,
Sydney. I mean, all these
All right, right,
little,
right.
yeah, yeah,
rivalries are there.
correct. Awesome.
Good.
This has been awesome, really. Kalyan, thank you for making the time. Audrey, thank you so much for making the time.
Thank
You
you.
know, the devil bun and the devil curry and and the pastries and Kalyan's modak and the awesome biryani with the potatoes, which I love so much. Correct. I have to figure out now what I'm going to eat tonight. Oh, I have Chef Gaya's vegan mushroom clay pot rice that she sent me, so that's good dinner for me. Yeah, thank you once again. For making the time for so much of information, heritage, love for food, and that's been shared here across both the countries, Malaysia and India. My love to both of you because I think uh, every Friday enriches me so much, with so much of things that I'm also learning, and which supports what I do also here. So thank you, Audrey. Thank you,
Thank
Audrey,
you.
for the exceptional work that you do by keeping Eurasian cuisine alive, which is so important today. and the community of Malacca recognizes it, because I was talking to them offline, and I will also kind of share the video and replay that goes everywhere, to kind of and see whether we can connect you to them as well.
Yeah,
Kalyan,
great.
you're the boss. Thank you so much. Thank you
we are
so
also
much.
connected with the cycle rickshaw of Malacca and Calcutta. You have the same thing.
Same
And
thing.
and
Yeah.
as we say in India while saying goodbye, thoda muh meetha, So let's have a little sweetness.
Yes. Yeah. I think Audrey has some shake there or a cham there too. Yeah.
Oh, I was also sipping on my espresso. But
Yeah.
yes,
Wow.
may
Thank you.
we all have a blessed time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and you have a good Ganesh festival.
Thank you.
Because now is the season for it. This is the entire week for it, right? And keep the spirit up, Kalyan. We are going to connect offline, and we're also
Yeah.
going to see what all we can do, because I have a lot of ideas for India and Malaysia, and that's why I had a big meeting happening, at the Indian Embassy today too, and they love it. Yeah, they love it as well. So let's take that forward. Audrey, thank you so much.
Thank you.
For
Thank you.
making the time.
I'm privileged here to talk to two passionate food lovers. I'm very passionate person, so it's my pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thank you for making the time. We are going to, of course, we are both in the same territory, so to say. I will connect with you offline. To all our friends who have joined in the conversation and who will watch the video in replay, thank you. You rock, because you always make it a point every Friday to tune in at 7 o'clock and stay along, for the flow. So thank you, everyone, for being here on the Stiletto Foodie Show, episode 8. It will be shared widely. You can share it with your audiences as well, because the idea is to kind of take all these conversations forward, because we need to, we need to keep creating storylines everywhere. So thank you, Audrey, and thank you, Kalyan, and have an awesome weekend.
Yes, and thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Happy
Thank you,
Modak.
Dina.
Bye. Take care.
Happy Modak to you too. Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye. To all my friends who are online still with me, thank you so much. And follow the story, watch the entire video on replay back again, share it with your friends, you should send it to Malacca too. Correct? Let's take this entire feel good vibe that we have celebrating our food, because those are stories of us. They are stories of our ancestry. They are stories of where we come from and where our ancestors and grandparents came from. So thank you so much for being part of the Stiletto Foodie Show this Friday on episode 8 with Audrey and with Kalyan. To everyone, I love you. Thank you so much. Keep the faith, be strong, and stay safe. I'm going to see you soon. Bye and good night.